I just came to say what's done in the dark will have your ass in a neck brace in broad daylight if you play with me, so I advise you to find something safe to do.
Wanna mess it up when I'm deep up in them sheets. A lot of time spent on my knees, but I damn sure ain't praying. I'm gonna tell you what you wanna hear when you put them legs up in the air. Boy, you got that work, got my booty bouncing everywhere. To left, to right, I'm gonna go all night. How you feeling good like that lean and that's right? Oh.
What's good, everybody? Welcome back to Black Men Need Love 2, Season 2. I am here today with one of my close friends, one of my good brothers, to discuss Black Men and Black Sex Part 2. Y'all already know who it is. It's your boy, Dr. Cloud. If you don't know, go back to last season for the introduction because I'm not going to do it in this video. If you have not seen Part 1 of Black Men and Sex, go back to Season 1 and watch it because in that episode, we got a little raunchy, a little transparent, and talked about sex for black men and how mental health affects our sex lives. So for part 2, we're going to continue the conversation. I decided to bring in somebody who can kind of give us another real world view of what is black men and our sex lives. I'm gonna let him introduce himself. He's gonna tell you his name, a little bit about himself, and then we're just gonna kind of go into the conversation. So rock with us, and hope this be a fun episode.
All right. Well, hello. My name is Avery. I rarely talk about myself, but I'm Avery. I'm a singer. I'm out in the Charlotte, North Carolina area right now. Actually about to get ready to celebrate a birthday in like less than a week. Well, no, a week. Yep, March 13th. Not you making notes.
No, it's time already. I have y'all birthdays in my calendar.
Yep, March 13th.
Oh Lord, is the time already, Avery?
Yes, it is. About to be good old 35.
Yeah, I have it right here. Lord, next Monday.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus. Oh my God.
You better call on this thing.
Nah, because I knew it would have popped up next Sunday, but Chad, okay, let me find you a gift.
Oh,
Because I have to give myself like 2 weeks to find y'all gifts for y'all birthday. Chill. I need to start checking my calendar more. Lord. Oh Lord, we'll talk about that later then. Because I'm sure I don't know if you're having a party or a dinner, but I need to make sure I'm free.
I honestly don't know what I want to do right now. I'm kind of situationed out right now with like just doing stuff.
Shelly's fine. I just dropped the gifts off.
I should be in town.
Well, if you here, let me know. But you're gonna get a text anyways on your birthday.
I appreciate it. But all right, so I guess I'll let you take the wheel and I will just respond accordingly.
So, as you know, that my podcast is pretty much geared towards Black men and our mental health. And so for this episode, I think we talked a little bit about this offline. I just kind of want to talk about Black men and sex. You know, sex seems to be like this big taboo subject that we as Black men really don't like to talk about too often. I don't know what it is, what is the stigma there or the barrier that when we kind of talk about sex as Black men, we kind of shy away from the important topics, right? Or we kind of shy away from the topic in general. And so this would be a little bit more self-conscious and sexually conscious as well. I was like, we need to talk about this, but the only way we can talk about it is to have our as men, we all talk together about it. So when you think about, and you know, this episode gonna be a little ratchet, y'all. It's gonna be a little raunchy, a little transparent, a little raw. So as I always give y'all my disclaimer, do not watch this at work around anybody who's Christian or anybody heavily involved in the church community. If they condemn you to hell, this does not on me. That is between you and your God. Other than that, I'm just giving y'all a disclaimer and don't watch it with.
Especially if they dealing with me. You never know what I'm gonna say. It's like Russian roulette.
And then watch this around your mama if your mama approves. So, baby, other than that, we gonna talk about it. Okay, let's talk about it. All right. So, when it comes to Black men and sex, why do you think that it's so hard for us to have this conversation about it in general? Like, what is the taboo there?
Well, so let's be careful with that one. It's how it's positioned.
Okay.
So, as far as men and being able to talk about sex, it's still a heteronormative type thing. So
Mm,
you'll hear it comfortably more with straight men talking about sex with other straight men, especially when they're, in the situation where they're discussing women and, and this and that and that. Like, whenever you've been into a barbershop and you've not just heard them having those conversations, like, as an openly gay man, I'm sitting there and I'd be like, damn, y'all really just degrade women for free, you know. So I think it all depends on the conversation itself.
mm,
Um, just like prime example, even in the gay community, tops are considered more of a like closer to a hetero norm thing in the sense that they can sit there and brag about all the bottoms that they sleep with, and it's okay. But let a bottom brag about all the tops that he's sleeping with, he's a hoe.
mm,
So it's those norms that are like unnecessarily there that makes conversations hard. Now, me personally, I don't give a shit. I work up around a bunch of straight men, and I'll sit there and I'll hear them talk about, oh, I bagged this yada yada, and I bagged this yada. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I bagged this nigga and I bagged that nigga. I don't be caring because one thing you won't do is touch me nor check me.
mm. For our viewers who identify as heteronormative and not homonormative, Avery has used some terms that you probably are not familiar with. So allow me to explain. This is a good thing about working in a job where I have to learn everything. So a top in the gay community is a
Ooh.
man who is not penetrated. He predominantly provides the dick. A bottom is a man who is penetrated. He provides the ass. And then you have versatile men who provide the dick or the ass or the throat. And then you have other subcategories underneath it. So just to give y'all a little bit of insight of these terminologies, just in case y'all do not know what they mean, because more than likely a lot of terminology will be used throughout this conversation. So just to help y'all a little bit more. So
Well, I'm glad you explained that because I ain't explaining shit.
so you said something very interesting, and so you said that most of the time, and this is true. We're in the barbershop. We have these open conversations, right, as men, and then a lot of times we be like, oh, I smashed this girl. I ate this girl out. She slopped me up, stuff like that. Why do you think that in the barbershop we're more comfortable with talking about our sex lives with other straight or non-straight men, because I don't want to put any assumptions on anybody's sexuality. Why do you believe that we're more comfortable in the barbershop most of the time having these open conversations about our conquest or the people we managed to dog out or managed to bag in the same breath?
Um, it's about a safe space.
Mm,
So, unfortunately, barbershops are a safe space for men and just being able to have those discussions about like their sex lives.
mm,
It's it's where they all come together. It's and they're free to talk about a lot of things. I think in that situation it's just the overall comfortability because in their eyes everyone is on the same level when you come through that barbershop door.
mm,
Um, it's been times where I've been there and like I've seen women just kind of look like what the hell, like y'all are really just kind of talking like this. Um, but yeah, um, just like I guess when you're looking at like gays and stuff, um, us going to the club, like the gay club, that's our
mm,
safe space to be able to, feel like we can be ourselves without judgment.
mm. And so you mentioned, and I heard you say this a couple of times, safe space, and that's something that's very big to me. The barbershop is a safe space for heterosexual men, and then gay clubs is a safe space for those who identify as lesbian, LGBTQ plus. So, do you believe that having a safe space, it makes it easier to have sex with somebody if they're a safe space? Like it makes it more easier, or do you think that it doesn't really matter?
Um, ooh, shit. That's a yes and no kind of question.
Okay, how so?
Um, cause some, well, ooh, trying to think. In all honesty, I don't really know.
Mm,
Because like I've been in some spaces that I wouldn't technically consider a safe space,
okay.
but Lord, when I tell all my business on here. Um, like I've been to sex parties.
Okay.
Like I've been to a few of them. I ain't gonna say how many, but I've been to a few. Um,
Were they enjoyable?
very,
Did
Any-
you get what you needed?
very. Anytime I'm in the room, I'm getting what's mine.
Then we love it for you.
But the thing is like, so for me, it's not considered a safe space because of the comfortability.
Hmm.
Um, just because like I am a big boy, and I know in a lot of situations like those, um, your overall appearance is always going to be a thing,
Mm.
you know. But what I've also learned is that guys love me, you know. So it's like in those situations where, like outside of the typical norm, I fit in
Mm.
because there's always going to be like a what's the niche or niche or whatever for something outside of the typical. Um,
An infatuation.
yeah, well, probably closer to a fetishization at this
Yeah,
point.
that too. A fetish.
But I mean, I think it's when it comes to like those situations where you're outside of your norm,
Mm.
um, just your overall comfortability. Like, yeah, it's not a comfortable feeling, but at the same time, it's like I know what I came here to do.
Mm. What are you willing to do?
I've been there too.
So I get what you're saying because I've been in some situations where I'm like, I don't think I can have sex with you because I don't feel comfortable in your presence. Like your energy and my energy do not match. And then there have been situations where I can sleep with somebody. And I'm like, oh, I could do this again because our energies feel safe around each other. You know, I because we talk and we openly talk about our sexual conquest and the things that we have experienced in our own lives. And I think one thing is that I've been very big on feeling safe or feeling connected to the person I decide to be intimate with, because to me sex to me is not just a random act. You have to actually like fully think and go through with it. Sometimes sometimes
Oh, okay.
I would say, because I know me and you agree to disagree on this topic sometimes. But for me, I think that if I'm having sex with somebody, I have to really think about it, because to me, it's like I'm really finna do this, and I want to make sure that I'm doing this with the right person. But you also mentioned something else, and there was a word you said earlier, which is fetish. Do you think that us as black men, that having a fetish kind of perpetrates the stereotype of, you know I'm trying to find the right words for it. It perpetrates the stereotype that as black men we are selfish because we have a certain fetish.
Um, so a lot of times when it comes to like fetish, it's always kind of shunned upon because of the fact that it's not something that you would normally do, or
Yes.
you'll normally see somebody openly do. Just like prime example, there's been plenty of guys who wouldn't openly date me, but have been in my inbox wanting to have sex with me.
Mm.
So, like I think a lot of times when it comes to like fetishes and stuff like that, it's just um people are afraid to just openly talk about those because of fear of judgment. Like, especially if they know that you have a certain type and this and that and that, but then there's always that one, you know, that's not what you normally go for. Um, like for me, shit, um, I like taller guys. Now I don't always attract taller guys, but I like taller guys. Um, Not saying I fetishize it, but that's neither here nor there. Um, but I think it's just because of the fact that people are not still comfortable, talking too openly about, some of their fetishes, some of their kinks, and fear of judgment. Um, you know, like yeah, I just feel like it's just the comfortability of it.
And that's true, because I think we all have kinks and fetishes. And recently, within the last year, I've kind of, realized that I do have certain kinks and fetishes that I didn't really like know what to call them at first, because I was just like, oh, I just kind of like this. It's kind of like something I really like. And then I realized, I was like, oh, it's called kinks and fetishes, and like, and then I realized stuff I also don't like. For instance, I don't like my nipples played with. It does nothing for me.
Oh,
Like,
child. I'll be over here breastfeeding. I don't give a shit. You're gonna put this thing in your mouth.
like I don't like, most people like, oh, let me, like, they try to play my nipples or something, and I'd be like, no, that does nothing for me. Like, when we heat it in the moment, it might be give me like a little sensation, but it ain't gonna give me that, oh yeah, like lick my nipples. Like, it don't do nothing for me. Like, like bite, like I don't like being like, biting me does nothing either. Like, and I'll be like, baby, this is not cannibalism. Do not bite me. Um, like nibble. Like, I like being nibble. Like, nibble on my side, nibble on my chest, nibble in places where other people ain't gonna get the chance to nibble at. But kind of be conscious of what exactly turns me on, what turns me off. But my nipples ain't gonna do nothing. My nipples probably gonna do something for you, but for me, it's just kind of like, okay, that's enough. If you want to use your mouth, put it somewhere else.
But
That's
see,
how.
this is where those conversations, you know, should be had. Like, I hate the stigma behind like asking someone like, okay, so what is your position? Are you top, bottom, yeah, this and that? Because a lot of times when you ask those questions up front, people think you're just trying to have sex. Which, and I know in most situations with people that might be their outcome, but then there's also people like myself who I'll ask because I ain't trying to waste your time. I ain't trying to waste my time. Um, so I ask those kind of questions, but it's not like, and sometimes I even position it like I'm not asking you this because I'm trying to like sleep with you on the first night. I'm asking because I know somewhere down the line, if we were, you know, this and that, or like, what do you like? What do you not like? What are you into? Things like that. Um, because I also have ways to get around, well, I've learned ways to get around, you know, I'm a little resistant to doing this, or, I don't know about this and that and that. Um, just like I have, well, I ain't finna go into my drawer over here.
Whew,
But
what's in
like,
the draw? What's in the
well, no,
draw?
like, so like, for example, I have like oral stimulation,
Mm.
things that kind of help with like, um, pretty much the whole oral sex part of things. So, like one of them I have is it creates a tingle sensation. So even on the nipples, you'll feel it and they'll feel it too. Or even when y'all kissing or oral, just in general. So it's like I've I've learned over the years how to be able to adapt, to certain situations.
I like the adaptability, and that's big, because I think we as black men, we have to adapt. So, first of all, for my black men who are watching, anybody else who's watching, first of all, I want to say, y'all see this right here, this right here, this is what we call a condom, okay?
Ooh,
Because some of y'all forget what these look like. I just want to give y'all a reminder, okay?
ooh.
This right here, you see this? This is called Uber Lube. Okay, I don't care. Lube, Uber Lube, lubricant. Okay, I just want to. Some of y'all forget what this looks like too. Okay, just want to give y'all some quick reminders during this interview. These are two items that you need in your sex life, depending. Okay, condom, lubricant. This is exactly you need in your sex life. Not everybody can get wet, female or male. You need lube. Okay.
But see, so you got to be careful because there's a difference between the lubes and what they're designed for. So
Yes.
silicone, which is like the Uber, it's the Uber lube. It's made for skin to skin, because it creates a gliding sensation. So there's a way. It's pretty much makes its own barrier. If you're
I
gonna
ain't
be
never
using
used
a
lube.
condom, oh yeah, no, that's my no, but like if you're gonna use a condom, then you more than likely would need to use a water base or a hybrid. Um, and a trick to like using a condom that I learned working at a sex store, put a little bit of the water base inside of the condom, so it creates a barrier on the inside and as well on the outside too. So it still gives you that same sensation like you're hitting it raw, but with a condom.
I want to try that. I might want to try that one day. Never know. And since we're talking about sex and this type of sexual activity, let's talk a little bit about the raw versus protected debate, right? Why do we feel like it's such a taboo to ask somebody if they use a condom or not? Why do we feel like why does that make such an awkward conversation? Like, we use you got a condom? Why does it feel like every time we had a conversation that it becomes awkward?
Because people tend to equate raw sex with nasty, dirty, diseased, and that's not always the case. You know, yeah, I mean that's not always the case. But then it's like people bring up condoms, and then most times they don't know the proper size condom to use anyway.
This is
Um, so I just think it's just the fact the I want to say because of the like the sex ed classes and stuff we was taking, it just built this narrative around, if you should or you shouldn't, this and that and that, and the epidemics and things. But it's like, as long as you're being completely honest and transparent with each other, um, and then like having those conversations, like, when's the last time you've been tested, how many partners you might have had recently, and and then being completely honest about it. Um, that that kind of helps quell the negative connotation behind those things. Um, Me personally, oh, here I go spilling on my tea
be
on
honest. Give us.
social media. Me personally, I mean, I prefer the raw aspect of it, but that's not with everybody.
Okay.
Um, but I mean, I use protection. Um, though my body does feel the difference, and I don't care what anybody say. Your body feels the difference. But that's why you learn tricks around that. Like I was saying, with the if you want to use a water base or a hybrid, put something inside the condom too. Um, it still tricks the body into thinking, you know. Um, but it just all depends on, also back to what I was saying about your comfortability level too. Um, are you comfortable enough having those conversations? Um, because we deal with a lot of stigmas in this world, especially as part of the LGBTQ plus um, community. A lot of times when we say things like we don't use protection like that, they instantly go to, oh, you might have something. That's not always the case with people.
And I've noticed that anytime when I'm doing like health assessment stuff like that, and I'm asking a client like, hey, when's the last time you had sex? I was like, are you using a condom? Especially my black man, they were like, oh no, I didn't use no protection. I said, okay, that's okay. And and they get quiet. And they were like, well, I know I should have. And I have to tell them like, it's okay. Like, your body, your choice. You know, I don't want you to feel like, feel ashamed because you didn't use protection. Because for me, I'm kind of in the same boat. Like, I like raw sex, and I can be honest about that. But I also understand the importance of using a condom too. And so I've had to learn that balance of, okay, raw sex is for like people, like for a partner, or like a consistent friend with benefit, like somebody who I know I've been sleeping with for a long time, and we kind of had that trust. Condom is for like, this is a quick little hookup. I don't really know you like that, but we here to do what we need to do. And we've had the conversation, but that still don't mean anything. So we need to use protection. And it's always been finding that balance and not feeling weird or feeling awkward about it as well. So why do we think, or why do we as black men, and maybe I don't know if you know the answer to this or not, why do we also feel like it's emasculating, or it's feminine, asking these type of questions? Why do we feel like that? As soon as somebody be like, oh, do you have a comment thing like that? The first thing we be like, well, I don't got nothing. You don't trust me. I ain't never been nobody. And then it kind of goes into this big I don't know how to call it, like this big blow up, you know. And I've always noticed that, especially when I'm like doing my health assessments, some men will get mad because I'm like, you know, are you using protection, you know, with your partners, and they'll get upset because it's like, why you asking me if I'm using a condom? Because I need to know how to best help you, right? So I don't, and like, you know, I had one person tell me, you know, using a condom, a real man don't use a condom.
Oh no, that
I don't know what to tell you there, but but I'm just curious because I've never heard a real man don't use a condom. So maybe I got lost somewhere in that thread, and so I don't know, why do we feel like it's emasculating to ask those questions, or that using a condom takes away from your manhood, or takes away from the pleasure of the act.
uh, I feel like a lot of that deals with the fantasy side that people live in when it comes to like their sexual engagements. Unfortunately, we have become, and I'm saying we as a broad statement, very desensitized to the what is actually happening in the world because of the way that a lot of because I'm streaming on something else. I have to be careful of how I say certain things because I will get blocked. But adult entertainment has desensitized us to a lot of the things. So I feel like a lot of people may have this conceptual idea that you know um, everybody should be on the same page. So why should I even bring it up in that type of situation? Or you know, I'm assuming you've already been checked and this and that and that. Crazy thing is, I've had this discussion with some of my straight male friends, and I'm like, "When's the last time you've been tested?" They were like, "Tested for what,
Oh,
sir?
Lord.
When's the last time have you been checked?" "Oh, I'm good. It don't burn when I pee." "Oh, okay. You know, you might want to go, get checked." You know, um, even for women, like, when's the last time? But I think it's the I honestly can't answer that question.
Okay.
And I think it's because of the fact that I'm very in tune with the things that I do as far as partners is concerned, and that and I stay regularly getting my checkups, and I typically for me, I try not to add a lot of bodies close to each other. You know what
Okay.
I'm saying? So that way, some shit happens. I know who to trace my steps back to. Well, you
I
was on
correct.
February 19th, and shit like that. But I mean, I feel like it all just boils down to, like I was saying, about the comfortability level, and having these conversations and thinking that you're not above being able to catch something. Just like I understand, like, straight men don't typically have these conversations with like their homeboys too often because they know that they bring it up, their homeboys is going to joke the hell out of them. Like, oh man, you got burned or something. And that's going to be the topic in the group chat. Um, Whereas with the LGBTQ community, we open because a lot of us have to regularly get tested and things like that anyway. You know, which kind of brings me to a thought. I hate the way that they were trying to label the monkeypox situation as if it was a gay situation. But the aspect that they were overlooking was that because, LGBTQ plus, we do regular testing because of, a situation that we're typically involved in.
Mhm.
Of course, it's gonna show up on us faster because we're getting them, regular checkups. You know, where most time, unless they working in some type of, you know, adult work style, they're not getting regular checkups anyway.
And this is true. And the funny thing is, I'm still trying to figure out what happened to monkeypox. One day it was here, the next day,
Had me in that line getting them shots for no reason.
like I just thought, like I not, and this is just a quick little segue. You talking about, you mentioned monkeypox, and I can't remember the last time I've heard something about monkeypox in the last couple of months. Since
Exactly.
since the summer, since when all that stuff happened with monkeypox, and then just like we still hear about COVID because COVID is still around, but I ain't hearing nothing about monkeypox in months. And I just, like, what happened? Like that fast, monkeypox just said, "Hey, I'm here." Then boom, like a thief in the night, it left.
Listen, at this point, somebody owe me like a free pizza because I've gotten both COVID shots and 2 boosters and both monkeypox. At this point, I think I'm more vaccine than human.
Probably, and that's very interesting that you said that because you also said some which is important about getting checked about how heterosexual and those who consider themselves LGBTQ how they get tested and checked up, and so I have noticed that with a lot of my heterosexual male clients, I say, "When's the last time you had a checkup?" They be like, "Oh, I ain't never had one. It's been a while." And so, if for those who are watching at home and those who are viewing, if you are having sex regularly, consistently, or you have a sexual lifestyle that is outside of the norm or what may be considered normal in human society, you should be getting checked every 3 to 6 months. If you are in a monogamous relationship and it's just you and your partner, you should be getting checked once a year, once a year. If you are not having any type of sexual intercourse, whether that be oral, anal, or anal, vaginal, anything like that, you practice celibacy. Once a year, you should be getting checked up as well, because stuff could still assimilate. Some STIs are asymptomatic, so you never know. You may actually have an STI and you may not be presented with symptoms, such as HSV1 and HSV2 can sometimes be asymptomatic, so you may not have bumps on the genitals or on the mouth area for those. So that's very important that we do talk about testing as well. That from like for instance, for me, I get tested every 3 to 6 months. I think my next checkup is June. It might be before then, nor me, but June, because sexual health is very important. But making sure that you are doing that as well, and if you're not using protection, like Avery said, you know, try to space it out. Like I like to be able to backtrack to who I was last week, just in case something pop up. Like, all right, I was with you on the 20th. Been 7 days. I ain't had nobody yet. I know who it was. And I ain't saying keep a black book, but just be mindful of who you're sharing your body with, because to me that's very important as well. It kind of lets you know, oh, this who I was romping around the sheets with. So I kind of I kind of remember now.
Yeah.
So another so I think there is one thing I did want to talk about as well. And when you talk about sexual positions, top, bottom, verse, and all that stuff, but I want to kind of move away from just what role people play in the bedroom to ask you the position they do in the bedroom, and why are certain sexual positions, especially with black men, seen as taboo. Like, and one of the things I really want to talk about is ass eating, straight or gay, right? Because I tell people this. I'm very honest about this. I have no issues with getting my ass ate. Like, y'all don't even know my sexuality, so I'm gonna let y'all just assume what it is, and just go from there. Because you may be wrong, you may be right, you never know. But to me, I don't think ass eating is really a gay straight thing. To me, it's just sex. So I don't know why we seem to make that taboo. And I think Tank said it before too. The singer, he like, I like getting my salad tossed.
Hmm.
I'm
And in that moment of him saying that, you know,
he
the
got called gay.
yep, the heterosexual community went straight for, oh, that's sassy, that's sassy energy. But listen, my thing is this. I know my role. I know my position. I am a whole bottom. At least that's what I say. Just so people leave me alone. But that's only when I'm in a committed situation. When I'm single, I'm versatile. Um, but hell, even when I was a full bottom and I dated a bottom, I didn't care. Listen, if the salad is prepared, I'm gonna toss it. That's it. That's all it is. The thing is like it's literally not that much further from the rest of the meat and veggies right there.
Yeah.
I mean, and some people they try to set boundaries like, oh, I don't like it. Listen, I don't give a shit. Listen, it could be a whole garden. It could be a forest down there. I could be Moses. I part that Red Sea.
Oh, my sweet baby
But
Jesus.
you know, just like I was saying, like I have oral items that I use that helps, you know, increase the overall pleasure. Like this one item I have is called Joe Oral Delight. It creates a tingle sensation in your mouth during oral sex, especially if you're in the back garden area. I promise you, it makes anything open up, like Fort Knox, open. Just
Takes a note for that later.
you know, so it's like, and plus, what people don't understand, it's a lot of stimulation that's down there.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Because
a
the male G spot is in that area.
yeah, it's a lot of stimulation. Like, you know, but I don't know why people feel like, oh, I guess why a lot of straight men feel like it makes them feel feminine to have a lady toss their salad, but like, how 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 clean is your salad? Because to me, I feel like if a man is like resistant to that, it makes me question like your hygiene.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like how clean are you actually keeping yourself back there? You know, because then me, I in my mind, I go further than that. So when's the last time you've had a prostate exam?
Oh,
Because it's like a whole rabbit hole I'm gonna go down. Um, but yeah, like I've never had a problem with it. Um, Hell, I rather enjoy it. Shit, you know, I ain't gonna lie. Typically, I'm probably gonna give them a round of applause on their face.
okay.
Don't worry, it's on my Twitter if y'all asking. But
Now it's on the Twitter.
yeah, that one's on Twitter. But yeah. So it's all about just
Tell the people the
letting your
Twitter. They
inhibitions
want to
like
watch.
go. Say what?
Tell the people your Twitter. They might want to watch it.
Not for free.
Oh, not for free. OnlyFans content for sale, y'all.
I am still listen. I am still working on the album. If y'all want to donate, I
That too.
I
Donate to
send
the
you the
album.
I send you the link.
Donate to the album. The link gonna be in our bio too.
So yeah, but I mean, it's just all about like just having fun with it. Like surprisingly, I have met a few like straight men and some straight women who actually enjoy it. Um, like I've actually had a woman tell me like one of her first actual gasms came from having somebody like in her back door area, and I was like, "Yes, God, sis," you know.
A round of applause. And that's important because I really like that's important to know exactly what do you like sexually because sex is supposed to be fun. It's not supposed you're not supposed to take yourself serious doing sex. Like there have been plenty of times I have had intercourse with somebody and I'd be singing doing it. I'd be laughing, but and we're laughing at each other because it's kind of like for I can give a quick story. Yeah, I don't mind telling y'all a little bit of my business, but not a lot of it. I had an old sexual partner. You know, we having sex. They're sitting on top of me, preparing to ride me, and they like, oops, it slipped out, and I'm over there saying there's a leak in this old building, just because how funny it was to me, but we were laughing at each other because it was one of our first times really having sex, and so we were just laughing at each other because I was like, well, let's try again, and of course we got it to where it needed to be, and so while we're having intercourse and so like that. Um, they looked down at me. They was like, "You make the ugliest faces when somebody's riding you." I was like, "Yeah, don't look at my face." I was like, "Cause I have a very ugly face when I'm being rode." And I was like, "But you ain't too cute yourself either. You look like you praying." But that's the thing I'm trying to say is that sex is not really supposed to be serious at all. Yeah, it's gonna be enjoyable, but if we take sex too seriously, we kind of lose out on the fun and pleasure of it all. And then I realized, but there was one position that I hate doing sexually because I find it to be impersonable. I find it to be like I don't want anybody to feel like I'm not connecting with them sexually. I do not like doggy style. I do not like hitting anybody in doggy style.
Oh, see, no, that's
See, most people like that, and don't get me wrong, a lot of people like that position. Me personally, I do not like hitting anybody in doggy style, and the reason why is because I want to be able to look in your face while I'm in you, and
mm-mm.
I and I guess because I'm a lover at heart, that's what I want to. I want to see your face. Like I want to make sure I'm giving you pleasure. Like doggy style is kind of like sit
So
bend over, prop up, then I'm gonna just bang 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 it, and once I finish, you can leave. I don't know. That's just me, but that's why I feel like again certain positions in the bedroom, everybody had kind of likes, everybody hates.
well, see, my good sis Trina once told me. She
Oh,
said,
oh, not Trina.
"Look back at you for what?
Oh,
I'm trying to concentrate on busting me a, you know." So it's like, give me a good beat, and I'm gonna like show you how these drums work. It's gonna be a whole drum solo. Don't play with me. Um, but then it's like I'm not. I got bad knees, so it just I like that ride. That ride, you good? I'm good on that one.
you
Nope,
don't got Megan knees. Me,
I
me,
don't.
Megan.
Yeah, I got Megan, the old white heifer Megan. Like definitely ain't the stallion. More like Megan Darby or something.
Megan Fox.
Nah, nah.
Oh, okay.
Her, her knees might actually still work.
Oh shoot.
Um, but no, but it's like I'm willing to try something at least for about 2 or 3 minutes now, till I can't, because like I said, I'm still a big boy, so I got to be careful now. I'm running out of air. That's right. Let's switch positions.
He said,
But
he said I'm running out of air. Oh my lord.
my only thing is like when people are too comfortable in the positions that they're familiar with, that they don't try to branch into like other things, other positions, try different things. There's one guy he only liked one position, that was doggy style, but because he was so much taller than me, it created an awkward pain for me, like because my knees it couldn't take trying to be comfortable for his height.
Mm.
Um, but then it's like it also depends on what I'm doing too. Um, God, I feel like I'm telling all my business.
You listen. You ain't telling no names. You ain't telling no location.
It
So
don't
I
matter. It don't matter because I know my TikTok because I'm on TikTok too. So like I know it's full of saints.
but tell the saints to go read the Bible and repent. We'll talk about it later.
We put that Bible right there to help prop the bed. But no, so like yeah, like I know for me, like I don't mind certain positions, but I'm also mindful too. Um, just because I know, for example, like missionary is the devil because
Oh, I
I'm
love
probably
missionary.
I'm probably like 100% vulnerable at that point because I'm literally at the mercy of whoever, you know. So anywho, so it just honestly just depends. Um, but there's some things like I will and I will not do, like morally and just ethically, I will not do it. Like I can't stand when a mug hit me up and talking about, meet me in the park. I'm not meeting you in no damn park.
Oh, I had a flashback.
I'm good.
I've been in the park before. A mosque.
Listen, my rent is $1,200. I don't pay $1,200 to meet you in the park. Mm-mm. I have a whole car. I'm not. If I can pick you up and bring you back if you need
Woo,
the song.
woo.
Even get you an Uber, but I'm not gonna meet you in no park. Not in Charlotte.
Not in the Charlotte. I mean,
They
but
got
isn't that the fun of sex? To sometimes take a risk.
that. So hold on.
Take a minimal risk. Don't take nothing that's gonna put your life in danger. Danger now.
Listen, because the thing is, what most people don't understand is when you get caught in them parks, you get listed as a predator. And that don't fall off your record. That is that, what's the name from SpongeBob? The teacher. It
Uh,
goes on your permanent record. That is there. You get listed as an offender, and like that don't fall off of there.
oh really?
It ain't like when you get you don't pay your rent and you get that eviction. It don't fall off after 7 years. That is there.
I'm so glad I grew up and stopped and not haven't did that again since. Cause baby, not my professional career. They can be like, we can't hire him. Look what's on their record, y'all. I was young, dumb, and trying to bust.
Yep. Nope. Them bust hell wide open.
Oh Lord. So I'm hearing you say a lot of good stuff, and I hope that to our viewers who are watching this episode, that y'all are learning a lot. We're having fun. But we're also talking about a lot of serious topics as well. So I will say that one thing I've kind of, and this is completely weird, but to me it's weird because I've slept outside my race before. I know I'm all about black this, black that, this,
Oh,
that, and the third, and I slept outside my race. I will own it, but but there's a disclaimer here. The person I slept with who was not of the melanin complexion introduced me to a community that I've never thought that I would actually kind of be interested in. It's not something that I would do too fastly, but it kind of was a little hot to me. It was leather. And I didn't know what the hell it was. All I know is harnesses, leather boots, a puppy mask, and some other things that I myself was just so confused about. But what my eyes got open to it in that one occasion. I think I still got the videos of that.
child. So unfortunately, my ancestors will not let me bend my back for any other race. I can't do it.
I know
They
my ancestors were mad at me, but
I can't do it, and like they'll send me messages and stuff, and I'm just like, oh, okay, block. Like and there's nothing against them. I have nothing against any other race, but as far as me and my house, this is a black love.
yeah, I'm a marry black. I'm gonna be with somebody black. But I just wanted to be like, I just really wanted to experience and see what it was. Like, okay, let's try outside your race and see exactly what it is. But
Mm-hmm.
what got me or what turned me off was the BBC complex, right?
Yep.
Do not act like big black C word, because I hate the C word, or you had this fantasy of being wanting to worship a black man. I remember somebody said, I want you to ravish me as reparations. What?
Oh, my bad. I read these. I read these TikTok comments. No,
Like,
so
for real, somebody said that to me. Ravish me as reparations, and I legit had to look like, baby, nah, we can't do this.
now, so the crazy thing about me, so typically, bottom me and top me is two different me's. Um, Now I'm not gonna sit here and say like I have not topped like someone outside my race. It's far and few times, but typically that me is a lot more aggressive and mean as fuck. I'm very submissive when it's with the right guy as a bottom. But as a top, I'm a whole ass. Like, shut the fuck up.
Why are you
Shut
being
the fuck
mean
up.
to people?
That's me. Shut the fuck up. I mean, without going into too much details, but like, yeah, like I become a whole like dominant, aggressive hotel. It's for my ancestors. Shut the fuck up, you know. But it just depends on like the situation. But the crazy part about it is like because to myself, I know that I'm not gonna do it again. I'm probably blocking them as I'm leaving their house.
Yeah, that was a one-time occasion for me.
It ain't been
Uh,
one for
huh?
me. It ain't been one for me.
No, it's only been one. No, I'm talking about just for sleeping outside my race has been a one-time occurrence for me.
Oh,
Uh, yeah, and but it was still interesting because again, I got to see inside a community that I've never really seen before, of the leather community, because it was completely different, the harness, all that stuff, and I was like, this is completely different. Now I draw the line at fisting. I don't know what that is. Just like fingering, I don't like fisting or fingering. I don't get it. I can't get into that. Only
you
because I
gonna you gonna get me banned on TikTok?
Oh, Liz, I keep getting you on TikTok, but again, this is very open conversations, and the reason where I'm telling you this is because with black men, especially for those of us, sex really can affect our mental health. We always talk about how when we're having sex with people, the energy exchange, right? that we can take other people's energies into ourselves when we're having sex. And so that's the reason why I'm talking about these subcategories, about our sex lives or people sex in general, because I don't think people realize the impact that sex can have on our mental health, and that the wrong sexual partner can affect you mentally and more emotionally and physically as well, but also mentally. Because when you don't have a good sexual partner, it can fuck up your mental.
So, if we want to get into the serious side of this conversation, because I mean, we got like the fun part out of it. Um, you're right. Now, and this is only speaking from my own personal experience.
Mm-hmm.
For me, because of past trauma when I was younger and like college and and self-esteem issues, I use sex as a coping for a lot of things.
Yeah.
To the point where at one point I was numb from it. Like I wasn't getting like no pleasure. It was just routine.
Mm.
Because that was what I became accustomed to. Like at one point in my life, I was like, okay, well, I'm not good enough for love. At least I can be good enough for sex. Um, and even then, it took a while for me to kind of break that cycle. Like I'm not going to lie, like I didn't relapse into that cycle recently. But it's cool though because he's back out the picture. Um, But the issue with that was that because I know like compatibility wise, there's nothing there. But he was also one of the few where I was able to be myself completely, without any type of inhibitions, nothing holding me back, no holds barred, just me, Avery in the raw, like full fledged, you know, like what inspires my music. Um, but when I was in therapy, well, I'm still in therapy, but like last year with therapy, I learned so much about what I was doing to myself. Um, to the point where I had to kind of stop.
Mm.
And like I would go on like intermittent, well not intermittent, I would go on like just breaks. And like sometimes those breaks would be, longer than what I was saying, okay, I'm just gonna go like, a few weeks, months, yada yada. And before I realized it, like 6 months done passed and I'm like, oh, okay. You know. Um but therapy had shown me so many things that I wasn't prepared for.
Mm.
Um, prime example, oh shoot, I had a situation where I went to one of the gay bars here in Charlotte, and I had on some black overalls and I had a crop top on underneath it, but I had a compression shirt that was like under it, so in the event if it went up, my man boobs wasn't just out and exposed.
His men boobs. Okay.
But during that time of me going through a lot with therapy, I started um I started having this weird thing where I would just kind of cut myself like this. And sometimes I didn't realize I was doing that. But in those moments of me doing that, it would bring attention that I wasn't aware that I was bringing to myself. Like,
Mm-hmm.
like I said, I was at a bar with one of my friends, and this guy was like, because I'm just kind of standing there holding myself, and he was like, why are you holding yourself like that? You cold or something? I was like, oh shoot, no, I didn't even know I was doing it. And he was like, oh okay, well just free yourself. And he reached right under my shirt and like right under my like compression shirt, and he pulled it right up and exposed me. Which I just kind of laughed it off, like, But at that moment, I felt like shit. Um,
Mm.
and this is like me. This is me realizing like how long have I just been like allowing people to just do things, and I was just there, but I wasn't there. Or I didn't defend myself like I should have. Like prime example, I was, molested as a little kid. Um, because I am on TikTok, let me word this carefully. I was great when I was in college.
Mm.
Um, but the thing is, I had all of these different situations that happened, but I never got the proper help or protection that I needed when I needed it back then. So I just learned a lot of bad habits off of it. Just like now at 35, I'm learning how to truly love myself. Well, shit, correction. 34 until March 13th. I am still 34. But like I had to learn the hard way, like how to like love myself
Mm-hmm.
because I've never been in love before, you know? And like it's crazy because I still struggle with compliments. You know what I'm saying? Like I still struggle with compliments. If someone was to sit there and be like, "Oh, you're very handsome," I don't believe you.
Mm.
But then on the flip side, I'm not gonna let somebody call me ugly either. That's not what we're gonna do. So like it took me a while to like learn how to not just see myself as a sexual object with people. You
And
know, like
that's
like
real.
I'm more than just sex. Like granted, yes, I know like the type of music that I make, which because I fall into the R&B side of things. So like I know the type of music that I make, and I know the type of influence that people say that it can have, and this and that and that.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me, but yeah, I had to like learn for myself, like I'm more than just that. That's why like nowadays when like I'm talking to somebody, and within the first 5 minutes, if I get like unsolicited body pic, the first thing I do is block them nowadays. You know, because it's like I don't want that anymore. Like the younger me would have been like, I don't mind building something that's based upon sex as a foundation. That was the younger me thinking. The older me now is I need to know that that foundation is built off of some type of substance that isn't based upon pleasure sensors and endorphins and all of those things that you release. Like I need to know, do you think I'm attractive before we do it, after we do it? Like I need that type of mindset now from a person. Uh,
Mm.
I need to know that you're willing to see me that doesn't involve after 10 p.m.
Oh, come on, somebody. After 10 p.m. Because, baby, but you're saying a lot of good things that is very important for Black men to hear when it comes to our sex. And thank you for treating this or sharing your personal life with us as well. I know that's not very easy to do, but you said something, and I think it's very important. Is realizing that not everybody is worthy of you, right?
Yeah,
And realizing that sex is not sometimes we do use sex as a coping mechanism, but we can become desensitized to it after a while, right?
yeah,
And you said something that really resonated with me because when I was in undergrad, I remember I had this partner, and I remember, it was just I ain't gonna say a partner. I had this individual, and they came to my dorm room, and we were getting ready to do what we do, and they was like, wait, 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 wait. They was like, hold on. They was like, chill out. They was like, this isn't a rush. We can take our time. I said, "What you mean?" Because for me, nobody never really taught me sex, right? And I know most people don't. I probably realize, what do you mean teach you sex? Nobody really taught me sex. I never really had somebody take the time to be like, "No, this is how I want it to look like, or why I want this to go." Right? I was so used to, wham, 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 boom, I'm done. It's over with. And they were like, "No, we don't gotta rest. Let me teach you, right? Just let me teach you." And that was the first time. I ain't gonna say we made love, but that was the first time where I actually fully enjoyed the sexual act because one, I didn't feel like I was rushed. Two, if I was hurting them, they would be like, "Hold on, that's a little too rough. Slow down." Or come, pull out real fast, and let's go back slow. And I remember that so vividly because it kind of helped me a little bit with the blueprint of my sexual partners moving forward. Asking the questions: Are you comfortable? Does this hurt? Um, Let me know what position is more easier for you. So I can make sure that this is enjoyable as well. It's not one sided. It's a two-sided exchange, right? Make sure that as much as I'm gonna join it, I want to make sure that you're getting pleasure as well. And I had to learn that sex cannot be used, as a distraction. Because I was using sex as a distraction too, and it was becoming bad. Because I'm like, it became bad when I couldn't remember who I was sleeping with.
Yeah, I've been there too.
Yeah, and that was bad because like I should be able to remember who I'm sleeping with, and when I cannot remember who I'm sleeping with, that becomes the issue. And I had to kind of bring myself back and be like, okay, hold on. I need to be in the moment. I need to be able to remember who I'm sleeping with and make sure that I'm fully present for these acts. And so that's why I really agree with the statements that you said that that you cannot allow anybody to let you feel less than or let sex be have a hold over your life. But there were certain times where I was just having sex just to have sex. I didn't need to. I was just doing it just because I was bored.
Yeah,
Like I'm bored. I don't really have nothing to do. I don't feel like doing it. I'm just gonna have sex just to say I just so I don't be bored anymore. But after it's over with, and after they leave, I'm bored again.
yeah. Just like for me, like the level of desensitized I became at one point, like the pain side of it was more pleasurable than the pleasure side of it, almost. You know, like if they weren't hurting me, I didn't feel any type of connection to it. It wasn't, and this is probably one of the reasons why the little toxic asshole, well, he will always have a place in my heart. Unfortunately, because like I said, I'm about to be 35. I can
Mm,
count on one hand how many times I've actually like, I don't want to say make love because that sounds so cliche, but it was where the pleasure was, it was high.
mm-hmm,
Like I have anxiety, and
mm,
sometimes when pleasure is too great, it gets triggered during adult time. Um, and it's crazy to me because it's only happened a few times in life, and he was one of the few times it's happened. A couple times actually. Um, but then also he did things that most couldn't do or I would even allowed to do, and it built the connection. But that was my fault because he was wanting like boyfriend energy on the friends with benefits budget. But like he was one of few that he touched me in a place where he could spend the night. I don't never do that. I don't care who you are. I don't even let people. I don't even let families stay like that. But like he was able to stay the night a few times. And I had to wake up to the fear like my TV gonna be gone. So it was like I hate the fact that I built a connection with somebody off of something I said I didn't want.
mm,
I'm saying because I thought I was at a point where I wanted something that was built off of actual substance and not just the premise of sex. So
mm-hmm,
it's like the older I've gotten, the harder I've gotten on myself about like I don't want just you know I don't want a friends with benefits anymore. I don't want to do that anymore. I want somebody who is comfortable with what they see, what they gonna get. Not just within these four walls or their four walls, but publicly. You know, um, like it's hard because sex has become such a very common thing now in the LGBTQIA plus community that for some reason you have to dig deeper to actually find substance now with people.
and
Um,
you're right.
but it's because it's what we're all become accustomed to, and I think it's the fact that we're all trying to figure out these things that we haven't had great examples of. You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, in my own immediate family, my family, for the most part, is heterosexual. Couldn't nobody show me as a child well, no one at a time, but you know, in my teens and adult years, what gay love looked like. Because coming from Mississippi, that was not a thing. You know, um, which segueing for a second, I hate the state of gay families nowadays. Um, I was actually in one, maybe two, when I was younger, but like it was so rare because like people would be like, "Are you sleeping with your gay dad and stuff?" I'd be like, "Wait, what? Is that a norm? Is that what y'all do in those families?" And it's not something that was happening in all of them, but like when I was hearing that was something that was happening, I was like, I thought they're supposed to be mentoring you. Why are they sleeping with you? Why
Oh
why,
no.
why are you sleeping with them? You know, but it's like I don't know when did that shift happen where the gay mentors, or the LGBTQ, I keep leaving out the other letters, mentors, like when did they stop mentoring? And
LGBTQIA plus.
yeah, the sorry to the IA plus part of it.
Oh hell.
I'm 34, about to be 35. I'm a little stuck. Um, but no, but like, what happened to the mentors that were associated with the community? Where which I get, a lot of them are probably dead and gone now. But like, what happened to those, or even the following generation? Like, I can't stand when somebody young hits me up online. Because the first thing I'm gonna ask them is, "Baby, who mentoring you? Are
Oh,
you just out here in this world just existing? Like, are you like what are you doing out here?" Um,
oh Lord.
because like if I had the proper guidance early, the
Mm-hmm.
a lot of the effects from my younger life wouldn't be so prevalent in my adult life, which is why I'm doing more work now to fix what should have been fixed when I was
Mm-hmm.
a teen. Because I started late, but I caught up early.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because I didn't lose my V card until I was about to be 21.
Okay. That's not bad.
But that was also when I was, assaulted too.
Oh.
So, but if I would have had the proper, I feel like if I would have had the proper guidance, or things to just kind of help steer me properly at a early younger age, I wouldn't have made a lot of decisions that I made, you know, up until this point. But also, I don't look at those decisions as bad things either. Um, they're just life lessons. It's just sometimes those life lessons come with the headache, um, or a little bump on your head. Just like this year. This year was the first time that I openly acknowledged my HIV status.
Okay.
Um, this year made 10 years, which and when I first found out, I used to tell myself, okay, I'm gonna give myself a time frame, because I knew some people who wasn't taking care of themselves, and passed away from complications because of the fact that they weren't taking care of themselves well. So I
Mm-hmm.
used to give myself milestones. Okay, let's get this first year out of there first. Okay, let's get this third year out of there. Let's get this fifth year. Let's get this. But I said ultimately my goal would have been by 10 years. Um, and it's so crazy because I made a post about it recently, um, talking about it because unfortunately for me, I found out on Valentine's Day 2013.
Oh no.
And the crazy part is, it's like when I tell people the story, they be like, "Oh my God, what were, how?" Listen, I told them, I said, the first thing I did when that man told me, I cussed his ass out. I said, "You could have told me on the 13th or the 15th. One day wouldn't have made a difference. Why would you tell me on the 14th, the most loved day out of the year?" Like, I went in on that man. He was like, He was like, "What about just that?" I'll get to that in a second. But sir, you could have told me any other day.
Mm.
So, so for me, it was always a bittersweet because it's like everybody's so in love on that day. And for me, it's like a reminder of a mistake that I made.
Mm.
So it took me until what? I want to say probably about a couple years ago where I started like, because one thing I'm gonna always tell a person my status. That's one thing you'll never not catch me doing. I'm gonna always tell a person my status because I will not do to someone what someone did to me. Now, because I am on my medicine and my medication, I'm undetectable. But that's a whole second level of stigma involved in that too. But that's neither here nor there. That may have to be another discussion. But I always tell people my status, and I think it's crazy the fact that like you still hear people, you know, finding out about it because, and I'm, like catching, HIV and stuff, and I'm like, there's so much that could be done to help if we were just openly having these conversations a lot more comfortably without the criticism and the stereotypes and stigmas attached to it. Because I know whole couples where one person is undetectable, the other person is negative and living a great life. I was just telling someone earlier that, it's not the death sentence that it used to be.
Mm-mm.
I know people still having children out here, whole families. It's not the death sentence, excuse me, that it used to be. And even I have to tell myself that, But I'm not gonna lie. Though I was greatly happy to reach my 10-year mark this year. It was also a bittersweet too. Oops. It was also bittersweet too, just because of the fact that like here I am celebrating it again by myself, and not really having someone to just kind of piggyback, that emotion, like, oh, yada yada yada. Um, but like I tell people, it's never stopped me from having a healthy sex life, but it's the stigma behind somebody openly dating me publicly,
Mm.
where the resolve and the reserve come into play and stuff. So, but it's one of those things where it's probably gonna happen when I least expect it. Hopefully, it happens before I drop this EP because I ain't gonna want nobody then because ain't nobody finna ride the coattails of my fame. Mm-hmm.
Ooh, Lord. So to everybody out there, before we get ready to end, first thank you, Avery, for being here today. This has been such a fun conversation. We have talked about so much, but I'm glad that we also had very serious conversation with the fun too. Um, I'm also gonna post the link to Avery's uh GoFundMe too. If y'all want to support him as well, so he can finish his EP. Because I've already told him I need a Birkin bag for
Ooh.
just for being his friend and being here throughout this journey.
Ooh.
And I need a good background vocal gig too, you know, so I can leave my job. But I hope to our viewers out there that this conversation has been very important. That you all have learned something today. You all have a takeaway. So before we get ready to wrap this out and close this out, Avery, can you give our viewers out there, our Black men who are watching, our viewers who are watching, a takeaway, something they can take home with them?
Um. So a life lesson, well, motto that I always carry with me. Um. You can't use me against me if I've been through me with me. Um, Never be afraid to act. Never be afraid to step outside of your comfort. Never be afraid to just genuinely be yourself. Um, and all of the quirkiness that comes with it. I had to learn that, like, just be Avery. Well, I guess the world doesn't know Avery is my middle name, so most people don't know my actual first name. But
They don't need to know it now.
you're, so like just be yourself. Um, the world already do not like us. So me personally, I say give them more to hate.
Okay, I like that. So for my viewers out there, thank y'all again for rocking with us. One, get tested. Please make sure that you're getting tested. Please make sure that you're having these conversations with your partner. For my black men, make sure that you are taking inventory of yourself and your sex life as well. Never be afraid to explore. You might realize that you might like something sexually that you never thought you liked before. So kind of give yourself the autonomy and the transparency to try something new sexually. You may realize that you actually do like it. So until then, we will see y'all next episode. I hope that this episode has really touched y'all. Let somebody touch y'all with permission, consent,
Respectfully.
respectfully, because I'm big on consent. But just make sure that y'all are out here having fun, safe fun, but fun in general. So I love y'all so much.
Hope you got a mouth for a dick, I wanna slap it in my face, shove it down my nigga, why you blunt? I can make this pussy. I know how to I can spin around and keep the dick still inside. Now your mouth, you looking real scared. I'm a man eater, headhunter. I'm prepared. Yeah, you running now. You running. I'ma put this pussy on you. Wanna mess it up when I'm deep up in them sheets. A lot of time spent on my knees, but I damn sure ain't praying. I'm gonna tell you what you wanna hear when you put them legs up in the air. Boy, you got that work, got my booty bouncing everywhere. To the left, to the right, I'm gonna go all night. How you feeling good like that lean and that's right? Oh.